Good afternoon, everyone. It is time for another episode of Get to Know Them. I'm so excited. We're going to be discussing my favorite topic, and I think your favorite topic too, roller skating. My guest today is Darnell Backus. I'm going to read you his bio in just a moment. This guy is amazing. If you have never watched my show before, I want to welcome you today. My name is Monica Graves. I'm your host. The show is called Get to Know Them. And every week I broadcast live from my studio space in Burlington, Ontario. And what I did over the pandemic was I decided I wanted to create a talk show where I could introduce you to all of the amazing people I know so that you could hear their stories and walk away feeling inspired. So I hope that's what you get out of today. Please sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, and just enjoy the interview. I'm really, really happy you're here. Before I get started and tell you more about Darnell, I do have a couple of show sponsors that I wanted to highlight today. So first of all, I have a show sponsor. Her name is Brenda Badome, and I'm always wearing her clothes. So today I actually have one of her tops on that is, believe it or not, I think about 15 years old. Her clothing is amazing. The quality is beautiful. The look is very classic. So, these are really great investment pieces. So if you're a woman looking for a new collection for the spring or summer, please check out brendabadome.com and use the coupon code Get to Know Them for 22% off of your order. My next show sponsor, surprise, surprise, it's actually me. I'm a jewelry designer and my business is called Glam Jewels. That's GLAMJULZ.com. And I create a wide variety of jewelry for all different people. And today I'm wearing some really cool earrings. They have jewels and leather. In combination, I did a collaboration with a friend of mine. Her business is called Hides in Hand, and she's just opened a retail location in Erin, Ontario. So check out her website to get more info on that. She's a great Canadian designer. And then I also do a lot of fundraising pieces. So today I'm wearing our Three Little Wishes bracelet that helps a family suffering from the financial burdens of cancer. So one last thing before I bring Darnell on and introduce him, I've also just designed, you'll see on my website, a line of skate jewels for all you roller skaters. So be sure to check that out. They are really well made. They're extra secure. You'll see everything on the site, so you don't have to worry about charms falling off or anything like that. So please go on and check that out. Now, who's ready to hear all about Darnell? I cannot wait for you to meet Darnell Backus. Darnell is from Buffalo, New York. This man has been roller skating since he was 14 years old. I met Darnell at Scooter's Roller Palace in Mississauga. He drives in from Buffalo a couple of times a week to skate there. Darnell is a rare find. He put on his first pair of skates back in the 70s, and he's been skating ever since. With skate history across the border and also right here in Canada, we are going to take a trip down memory lane today. Darnell has seen so many changes to skate culture over the years. I'm excited to dive into the history with him. Here he is. Yeah, Darnell.
Hello,
How are you?
everyone.
Live from Buffalo, New York. Are you actually in Buffalo, Darnell? Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Towanda,
Wow.
actually.
Okay.
hmm
That's great. Man, that's a drive for you, which I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Like, yeah. But I'm really, really happy you were able to do the interview today. And I know there's a lot of people from the skate community watching, and they're really excited to hear your story because, as I said when I read your bio, you are a rare find. A lot of us start skating, we started in the 70s or 80s, and then we kind of abandoned it. And you kept on going. So you've seen a lot.
We
And
we all have. There's a
yeah,
lot of us.
yeah. But I can't wait to hear about all this. But Darnell, the first question that I ask all of my guests, which I'd love to know because I don't know this about you, is what did little Darnell want to be when he grew up?
A football player.
Ah,
Yes, a football player. Played
that's
football
cool.
through Little League when I was a really little guy.
Yeah.
Won a championship at Shoshone Park. Yeah. I wanted
Yeah.
to be a quarterback for football. Yeah.
What, are you a big Buffalo Bills fan?
A big time. Yes.
Yes, that's cool. I had my first experience. I went to a game in December with a snowstorm. It was my first experience. It was amazing.
Yes. You got to
Yeah, what a
do it.
team.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. So, Darnell, what did you kind of end up doing in your life? Did you pursue football after high school or
Well, when I
what
got to high
happened?
school, I, was about to start playing football, and then all of a sudden, they brought in a guy named Tom Hume, a 6'3", quarterback in, and I was like, okay, so, and I had just fallen in love with roller skating at the time, so
Right.
it was easy to let it go because I found something that really, I mean, you can't find
Yeah.
the feeling that you get roller skating anywhere else.
Yeah. So what year was it when you put on your first pair of skates?
Probably about 75, 74, 75. Yeah.
Okay. And where was that?
At Arena Roller Rink and at a place called Skateland. Skateland, I started with what were greats back then, like Stanley Breckenridge and Gordy and Anthony Breckenridge. Those were like
Yeah.
the people that really knew what was going on as far as skating goes in Buffalo back at Skateland. And
Okay.
I left from there, went to Arena, and then in '77, I took my first trip to Canada, and I went to a marathon skate, and it was 4 days and nights on the street, and it was for muscular dystrophy, and I just loved it. I had the most wonderful time, met great people, and have been going up to Canada ever since.
Wow. So when you first heard about roller skating, was it a person who took you there and said, "Hey, have you tried this?" Or what sort of lured you into roller skating? Because
Um,
that's a pretty football and roller skating, those are two completely different things.
of
Yeah.
another friend of mine, his little brother was,
Okay.
going roller skating, and he didn't want to go. He's like, but they need a chaperone, so somebody had to go. And I was like, I'll go. And I went, and I had a marvelous time. and you know,
Yeah, that's great. So Skateland is in Buffalo. Is it still there?
it's no,
Or
well, yeah, it's still
no?
there, but it's a really small rink.
Mhm.
It's very good if you're at what I would consider a dance skater. Someone who
Okay.
doesn't. I'm a rhythm roller skater. I go around.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really fascinated by that because I don't think I had heard the term rhythm skating or known really what it was until coming back to scooters and seeing all of you guys like in that line, skating, and you're within inches of each other. Like anything could go wrong at any time, but it never seems to. It's just like this rhythm. So who kind of introduced you to that, or did you just fall into it? How did that happen?
That was a strange way. I was at USA #7 on Niagara Falls Boulevard. Again, this was early '70s, '77, '78. And some gentlemen from Canada, actually greats. Some of them that are not here anymore, like Dave Hayes, who was a great one, probably the best rubber legger that I've ever seen um, uh, on a pair of skates. Him, Jimmy Hutton, and another guy, Kenny Williams, who's the best rhythm skater, but the best skater overall I've ever seen is Greg Campbell, and he did
Okay.
everything. But he did dance, he did figures, he competed in all kinds of that contest stuff. But yeah, so I started skating at USA, and that's where I met all the Canadians, and I've met, like I said, I've skated on the floor with some of the best that I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, that's great. So, you've given me some really good advice at Scooters on just sort of how you feel about skating and how important it is for a person to connect with themselves and to really express themselves out there. I'd love for you to share that because I think a lot of times, we want to learn everything, but we get caught up in the learning, and you have a different viewpoint on that, which
Yeah.
is great. Yeah.
Many years ago, I did teach. Me and a friend of mine, John Savaglia, we used to have a thing called D&J's Rhythm Skating Lesson. So I did teach, and I understand all of that. But the one thing that
Mhm.
I found is that you can learn all the steps, you can see everybody doing it, but you have to find your own way to do it because we all don't walk the same, we all don't move the same, the music doesn't hit us the same, you know? So, I mean, the beat's always there, but you got to find what moves you. And I know myself when I skate, it's aerobic, it's a lot of exercise. It makes me feel good. It's like I was an entertainer. Everyone's
Yeah.
an entertainer. You're your own best show. Doing your thing, and it doesn't have to be like everybody else's. It just has to be yours. And I truly enjoy seeing other people having a good time doing their own thing. There's a couple older gentlemen that come there, and they keep their head down and they just do their thing, and it's beautiful. Skating
Yeah.
has changed over the years a great deal.
Right. Yeah. What can you talk to us about that, Darnell? Like how has the culture changed over the years?
Well, you got to go to the music back in the
Mhm.
'70s. That was a lot of funk. There was like Ohio Players. There was just the Brothers Johnson. There was just funky stuff out there. So the skate style was a little bit different. That's when rubber legging, which is a style that a lot of people will never understand, but
Yeah.
that's where it was. But it was still with rhythm. And in the 70, or I should say the 90s, that's or the pop and lock era. I don't know, that's late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s, where everybody's doing a different thing, and the wave and all that stuff. So that brought in a different type of skating too. Even if you were still a rhythm skater, the style that you had to adapt to was a little bit different. And the
Mm.
way it is now, I think it's a dying thing for our youth. We need to get more rinks back open because I think skating saved lives. I mean,
Mhm.
just friends, people that would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
That was an outlet, you know.
Wow. Were you a witness to that? Did you know people who really were able to turn their lives around because of skating?
Yeah, a whole bunch of
Yeah.
people. We were all down the bad path at one point or another. But if you find, I found that skating didn't care. It doesn't matter where you came from, what you look like, you're black, white, green, whatever you are.
Mhm.
As long as you're on that skate floor, you are part of a big community. And everybody, as long as you're having fun, we want to help you have fun. So
Yeah.
it's just beautiful. I think we need to do that. There needs to be more rinks because back then, again, kids don't have things that they can do. Now roller skating gives you something that you can do, and you can do it. I did it on Monday, I did it on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. It was a constant thing, and it kept me out of trouble. I mean, I did my homework, so like it enabled me to go. I mean, there was so much that
Good.
goes with it. And so yeah, I
Yeah.
think roller skating, we need more rinks.
Definitely. Yeah. It's interesting. I was talking to someone at the rink who's also skated for a long time, and he was saying he remembers like there was kind of a tough time in the early, like late 70s, early 80s when rock really became a big deal. And then it was like if you roller skated, like people kind of made fun of you almost, there was that seemed to,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was more
The
in Canada or what, but
That was all
it's
over.
true.
But you know what?
Yeah.
When rock came in, I mean, rock, I could skate to rock too. And now
Hmm.
what's really crazy is country music. I could skate to country
Yes.
music. I mean,
Right.
music is music. If it's good, it's good. It's simple as that. I mean, Fleetwood Mac, Dreams, I could just do my thing to that.
Yeah, for sure. So I need to know when you're doing your thing, how do you pick up that speed? Like, have you ever, is there any way to measure how fast you're going? Because when I look
It's
at you on the rink, I'm like, Darnell, like you're so smooth, but then like if I'm sitting, I'm like, oh my God, there he is again. Like I realize like you just whipped around that
but you know what? I
place in no
really
time.
that's changed because when I was younger, it wasn't so. I mean, you were always fast, but it wasn't so much about the speed. You know,
Mhm.
it's about the beat, and if the beat pushes you to go a little bit faster, then it does. But normally, it's more about the move. It's what can I do in that beat? You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of tough to explain, but if you've seen it before,
Yeah, I've
there's a
seen it.
lot of
Yeah.
people that skate fast, but it's not about just being fast. It's I want to make the move that makes me feel good, still be in the beat, and still keep my speed and pace going.
Great. I love that. Do you find even now you're like looking to for new moves, or do you like to throw something new
Oh
in
yeah.
there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm looking forward to I'm gonna go to a Kwame is gonna be doing a little skate class and I'm gonna be with him. I'm gonna try to do some of that. A little skate dance.
Cool.
We did that when we were younger, or at least I did
Mhm.
when I was young. But as I got more into rhythm skating, I got did less of that and more of, you know, the rhythm skating.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So your wife also comes to the rink and she's a skater as well. Did
Yeah.
you get her into skating, Darnell, or is that
Oh
how
no.
you met? No,
Oh
she
no.
was already.
She
Okay.
was already a skater. Most of
Yeah,
my friends, which is really kind of nice, I feel like I'm really blessed that way. Um,
yeah,
I've known most of the skate community that I skate with for 35, 40 years. And I've watched them, you know, have kids and their kids are growing up now. And I mean, I have, like I said, I've lived a great life because of roller skating and the places that I've gone, the people that I've met, the love that you receive back. I mean, just everywhere. So,
yeah. It's a beautiful community. Like I find that especially you guys that have been in it for so long, for us like kind of newcomers, it's really nice because you're looking out for us. Like I think you notice the people who are really trying and you want to see
yes,
them do well, right? Like that's the
all the
impression
time.
I get. Yeah,
All the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
If I see
Like you
someone
got your
that's
eyes on.
working at it and trying to get better, I come over and let them know I see you working over there, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely want to encourage people to do that. And especially for, I mean, like I'm 61 years old, okay? I'm about to turn 62. But for just it's such a good thing. It's healthy. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're done, you feel good. You know what I mean? Your body feels better, your heart's pumping better. I mean, it's good for you.
mhm.
I think I'm going to get back into teaching again, just for the fact that I would like to get older people to do so that they can see it and feel it. I mean, there's people that were older than me. There's a gentleman that's 88 years old that still
Yeah.
comes, that still skates and can skate. I mean, not like
Yeah,
he's over on the
yeah,
side, you know, doing this. This is an 88-year-old man that's out there on the floor that's really moving and he's jamming too, you know.
yeah.
So I love every bit of that.
I love that too. And it's kind of sad, when I hear it all the time because I just started back in November and just doing a post on social media of roller skate. Like women usually go, I can't believe you're doing that. Aren't you afraid you're gonna break something? That's most of the, and then I send them, there's like a little graphic I found online, all the benefits of roller skating and how it's
Yes.
actually safer than riding a bike. And so I just send them that, like, you know, it's
It's the
not as
truth.
scary as you think. Yeah.
It's not as scary as you think, and it's a
Mhm.
whole lot more fun than riding a bike out in traffic. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
mhm.
So when you're doing that drive, like from Buffalo to Mississauga, how long is that taking you to come out to us?
It's about an
usually?
hour and 40 minutes, but it's a really nice
Oh,
drive. And that drive has changed over the years. I mean, from the way you cross the border when I was a kid, all you
yeah.
needed was a driver's license, and go ahead, see you later. Now you got to have your passport or enhanced driver's license, and the route is changed on the way. I mean, the QE's always been the QE, but the scenery along the side of the road has
Yeah.
changed. Over the years, I've watched buildings go up, just all kinds of things. I love it. It's an hour and 40-minute drive if you go directly to the rink, but I never go directly to the rink. I stop in Hamilton and visit friends or.
Oh, good. That's great. So what kind of gets you pumped up to go, Darnell? Because a lot of people would not do an hour and 40-minute drive like twice a week to go somewhere. Most people would, in my opinion, most people would say, you know what? I think I'm just gonna stay
Well,
home tonight, throw on some Netflix. Like what is it that,
I would say to
right?
those people, do you ever have anything that you really truly loved? I mean, if you play the piano and the piano was an hour away, would you go to play that piano?
Yeah.
I love it. It really, it's good for my heart. It's good for my soul. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I get to share that with my friends. I
Mhm.
mean, I like to see people having a good time. We get to share birthdays together, if different events. Uh, there's always a picnic or a barbecue, or this one's, child is graduating, or I mean, I've got friends who've got grandchildren that are graduating. So
Yeah.
there's always something. So the drive never bothers me unless it's wintertime.
Yeah.
But no, over the years, I loved it.
I think that's so amazing. And it really speaks to the the big deal about you doing that drive. Like I want people to envision this if you're not doing this kind of like Darnell's driving for an hour and 40 minutes. Then he's coming to a place where he's sweating for 4 hours skating around and around and around. Maybe he's having a bite of birthday cake in between, but for the most part, you're out there. And then
Hmm.
you're driving an hour and a half home and you're doing that twice a week and you're 62 years old and that and you're
And have
feeling
been doing
refreshed
that for,
after.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I've been
like
doing that for about 35, 40 years though. So,
exactly. You are proof that the energy doesn't die unless we let it.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Like it's so when I see you out there and I know about your commute and I mean when I see a lot of people out there, but I really with you I feel that like
But
this is
you're
amazing.
I'm not the only one. I mean, I've got
Yeah.
the skate community comes to visit Buffalo. They go to, I mean, there's a whole group of us going to Chicago in a couple of weeks. Um,
Yeah.
we're everywhere. Everywhere we go. We're in Vegas a year or so ago.
Ugh,
The Detroit Soul Roll, which happens only every 2 years. I mean, people come from all over the world for this. I mean,
yeah.
so I'm not the only one. I mean, the hour
Yeah.
and 40 minutes is a little bit of time compared to, and some people that come to scooters drive further than I do to get there on a regular
Wow.
basis. So, you know,
God, yeah, it's pretty wild. Oh, Darnell's just let's see what happened. Yeah, there he is.
there I am. Yes.
You're back.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, it's great. I love that. I think it's such a positive message that, our energy, we can keep it going.
And
We
we
have
should
the
all get out there. I
capacity.
mean, I encourage the younger people to get out there and learn about it because it's fun. It keeps you doing something, and you can do that late at night. You know what I mean? I mean, they
Yeah.
have late night sessions where you can go in and skate, from until 1 o'clock in the morning, and have all the
Yeah.
fun that you want to have with your friends and everything. And it's good, clean fun. You can enjoy it. So
Yes.
I think everybody should do
That's
it.
great. So, of all the places you've skated, is there a place that did you have like in particularly like some spectacular experience where it
Well,
really blew
there
your
was
mind?
It depends on what era, because back when it first started at Scarborough Roller Palace, they used to have a big group, the Sunshine Crew, and Carl
Right.
Allen, and some of the great DJs that you hear in clubs and everywhere else, where they began at roller skating rinks. So early, it was Scarborough Roller Palace, Mississauga Roller Palace, which is now Scooters. But my all-time favorite place, other than number 7 USA on Niagara Falls Boulevard, that's no longer there. That was my rink. That was the best rink I've ever been to. But overall, Aurora in Aurora, Ontario, they had the
Really?
greatest all-nighters ever. Oh
Oh
yeah.
God. Wow. That must have been amazing. So you skated like all night long
It started at 8
overnight?
and
Yeah.
went till 8 the next morning. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. There was a lot
And
of people that did that. But as we grew older, we realized that we couldn't come in at 8 o'clock and do that. We normally come in at midnight and skate until,
yeah.
8, and yeah, go for
Wow.
breakfast at McDonald's, or over to a friend's house for tea in the morning, yeah.
Great. Yeah. I love it. It's so different, eh, Darnell? Like, did they ever they like I mean, as far as I remember, there was never alcohol at a roller rink.
No, and you know what?
No.
I don't
Sure.
think that that's really a good. Alcohol
No.
is not conducive to safety as far as
Yeah.
skating goes. I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't get on the skate floor if you're tipsy, because you need your balance. So,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's another great thing about it is that, like y- you think about, y- like a lot of us in our teens, 20s, 30s, we were going to clubs to dance, but it's alcohol, right?
Right.
And this is like such a powerful feeling like dances, but you're doing it, for the most part sober, which is,
Safely.
and
Yes,
safely.
safely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
end of the night, I'm not worried about, I had too many drinks. Can this person drive me home? Do I need to call an Uber or something? They didn't have Ubers when I first started,
Yeah.
but, you know, so
Well,
it's just a beautiful thing that when I'm done, I stop and I see everybody else at Tim Hortons. We get coffee, and everybody goes their own way. And then,
mhm.
if you're really friends with someone, you might talk to them during the week a couple of times or send a text. But we keep in touch through Facebook, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. It's a really nice community. And I mean, I got friends that I touch base with in Las Vegas that I just met a year ago, who's back. Livingston Rouse, if you're listening. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I wish
Yeah.
that everyone got on their skates. If nothing else, come see us on a Thursday night at the Palace. I call it the Palace. Everybody else calls it Scooters. I call it the Palace
Yeah.
because it was the Palace. It was Mississauga Roller Palace and Scarborough Roller Palace. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a really good. I've actually had a couple of friends who've been hesitant, just come and watch, and they're blown away. They're like, "What? That's what's happening in here?" Like people don't realize. And it's so nice that you're so welcoming of newcomers, like
Oh, for
that
sure.
you
I,
want that.
I, I
Yeah.
want you to, if you're a newcomer, I want you to come in, have a good time. And the next time I see you, you're going to get better and better. And then eventually you're going to be one of us going, oh my goodness, I'm having such a good time doing this. You
Yeah,
know?
that's right. I love it. So, why don't we talk a little bit about rental skates versus having your own skates?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, if I would, that would be one of the first thing I'd say. Rental
Yeah.
skates are beautiful if you're only going to come and do this once. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to start, don't go spend the money yet. Go get on a pair of rentals, see what you can do. But that's also a bad thing, because rentals have been worn by everyone and they go every which way. Nothing ever gets used to you. With a new pair of skates, you get on the floor, those skates start learning how you move, not how everybody
Mm.
else moves, but how you move. And the skating becomes easier and easier because of the skate. So I think everybody should try in rentals just to see if you might like it. But if you're really serious about roller skating, go buy yourself a pair of skates and then come roller skating, because you'll do better on a pair that you've purchased, and you're more apt to come back again. Because the rental skates, again, like I said, rental skates, they kind of go every which way, because not everybody skates the same. So
That's right. I always say it's kind of like when you get a bad shopping cart at the grocery store. That's what
yes, yes, exactly.
yeah. And
Mhm.
the other thing, Darnell, is because you've taught as well, don't you find it amazing how quickly people can progress in a short period of time? Like nobody should look at you and say, "Oh, but he's been doing this for 40 years. I'll never get there," right? Like I
No,
think
they should
people
never
can,
say that, because I look
yeah.
at you, for example. I mean, you began in November. You're already grooving. I mean, and now
Yeah.
it's about, like I said to you before, it's about you finding what it is that makes you do your thing, because you got the moves. Now it's just finding you in there,
Yeah,
you
you know
know?
what's funny? I love doing this, and I've clobbered a couple people across the head. So I'm like, oh, that's not going to be my move, or I'm going
Hmm.
to make not
Hmm.
make it. Yeah, but
Yes.
it's so true. You just got to find your thing, right? And I
Yes.
love how like the music really dictates the skate. Once you feel like a connection with a song, you could go from well, I'm pretty good, to all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, was that me? Like
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
believe what I just did out there. And then, maybe the next song you don't like as much, so you kind of go back to whatever, but the
And
music is
that's really
powerful.
important. That's important. You hit on
Yeah.
some of the big keys. Your DJ is truly important for the as a friend of mine, Tracy Mack, would say, the vibe in the room. The vibe in the room
Yeah.
is really important. Like our guys on Thursday night, I call them Smokey and the Bandit. Those two guys, they they put us in a feel good kind of mood, and we
Yeah.
all feel good. And everybody gets off the floor, and we watch Don and Dave do their waltz and all that. And
Yeah.
then after that, Thursday nights becomes a jam session, and you've got, I mean, people of all ages, just having a good time, listening to the music that they can connect to, you know.
Mhm.
So the music is
Yeah,
really important.
it is. So a lot of the DJs, are they skaters as well? Or are they, yeah?
Most of them do
Okay.
or have at one point or another, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think you could really be a roller skating DJ unless you've roller skated.
Right. Yeah, I was
It
actually, Bill at the rink that does the lessons. Yeah, I was
Yes,
talking to him about that, and he said, a roller DJ is you have to have a completely different set of skills than, a DJ at a club or
for the
something.
club. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
there is. You have to find a way to see, at a club, you're stopping to have a drink and doing this, but when you're skating, you're on the floor and you want to be on the floor. As long as the music is good, I'll stay on the floor all night long, and
yeah,
everyone else will too. So it's important that the DJ plays songs that keeps everybody moving, not just something that I like, but something that everyone will like, and they find a way to do that. Our DJs are really, really talented.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the whole flow of the skate, and I've talked about this before with other guests, but do you find, Darnell, that you just go, it's like a high level meditation? I've tried meditating, but I've never felt like I do when I'm roller skating, unless I'm
Yes.
doing work with my hands or something, creative work. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I feel wholeheartedly exactly that way. Like you
Mm.
can get a high from roller skating that you can't get from anything else. I mean, unless you're an athlete that's in, that's doing something at the highest level, you'll never feel that unless you're an entertainer or a comedian who's just slaying them, with jokes. You'll never get that feeling, but I can get that feeling, you know, I shouldn't say every night,
Mhm.
but majority of those nights, I can go in and I can feel great when I'm done. I mean, that I don't know what type of endorphins or what that
Yeah.
happen, but I know that I feel really good and it's soul cleansing. I mean, the combination of the like exercise, which sweats out all the stress from the week and everything else, but the exercise and the feel good vibe from the music and the people around you, you can't get that unless you're an entertainer or an MBE or football player or something like that. You have to,
Yeah.
that's the only way you can get it.
God, I love that you're saying that. Yeah, it's so true. Like, it's an access to some kind of magic, you know? Even walking through the door, it's like a portal. Like, okay, here we go. You know, we're not
It
in
takes us back,
Kansas
really.
anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
really something. It's something that really, like, I look at you, perfect example. I mean, and you already get it, and you already feel that way. And just think, another 2 3 months, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You go, I understand, but now I really understand because you
yeah.
feel so good. I mean, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, if they think you're a good skater or not. Is it feeling good to you? Whatever
Yes.
that move is that makes you feel good, do it. I don't care if you do it over and over again, because at the end of the night, when you feel good and you walk out that door and you're smiling, you're going to be nicer to the next person that you see. You're going to, I mean, I don't know. It just makes me feel good. And I'm a kind person, but just to see someone else have a good time, I truly enjoy that.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, Darnell, like I'm going once a week right now. That's sort of what fits with my schedule, is just to I can commit to those Thursdays, right? But
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. I can feel this. It's like you skate and then you take the flow moves with you throughout the weekend and kind of stays with you. Then by about Monday, Tuesday, I start getting like, okay, I gotta get back there, you know, like
Yes,
the itch.
I need to do this again just to get my head and my soul and everything back in alignment again.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
yeah.
it's addicting like that to me. I think it's like that to all of my friends too.
What did you do over COVID, Darnell? How did you scratch the itch?
Now,
Huh.
strangely enough, during COVID, I mean, here in Buffalo, you could still skate, but you had to wear a mask indoors and all of that. And he limited, there was, when it really got bad, they were only like allowing 50 or so people to be in a huge rink. But,
Mhm.
so that was the way. But most of my friends who do more of the dance skate, even, but I got rhythm skaters that dance skate too. Like Kwame can do it all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they just put on their skates and they're dance in their hallway or in the backyard, or Mark Bernard and his people were skating in their underground garage, and
Yeah.
so we found a way. Roller skaters found a way to get that in.
Yeah, that's great because I mean, I'm sure you know, I've heard a couple comments that, you know, some people haven't come back that were older and that's so sad because, you know, they didn't have the ability to practice or a space to do it in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I look around, and a lot of my friends, like, I don't feel like we're the old people yet. you know,
No.
I mean, I know the kids, I like my sons, they both think, yeah, dad's an old guy, but I'm really not an old guy when I look at some of the people that I know that are 60 years old that don't roller skate, that don't have that outlet, I mean, if you've been there on a Thursday night, if you were on a Thursday night went and looked at you wouldn't believe that the people that you're walking around that are in tremendous shape are 50, 60, 70-year-old people. And
Yeah.
to me, the roller skating community, to me, we don't look as old as everyone else. I
No,
don't know.
not at all. No, not at all. No, it's really cool. Like I noticed that right away. It was so strange because I had come to scooters like a couple of times, but not very often. But then coming back to it in November and being there on a Thursday and looking at you guys, I'm like, oh my God, these are the kids that I probably like you guys are like just a little bit older than me. So it's like these were the older cool kids that I probably skated with in the 80s before I
Yes.
stopped. And they
Uh-huh.
don't look any different. Like even the bodies are the same. I'm like, how are these people? How do they look like? Like what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like you're in a time capsule.
It truly is amazing. I mean, even my
Yeah.
friends here from Buffalo that skate, if you saw them, the Marges, the Militellos, all the people from here that skated, uh, they're young looking. I don't know. The skate community, when I go to Detroit, I'm impressed at Soul Skate that how many people are actually my age, but we're the young people. you know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's really interesting. If you look
it
at
is.
society and you look at roller skaters, you'd be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, for sure. And it's fun too, like sometimes at scooters, you'll see young people come, and I love how enthusiastic they are about the culture. And you'll see like a guy in a disco suit with like a wig and just like fully wants to express this whole vibe.
hmm
And then they get out there and they're like, and
Uh-huh.
you guys are whipping around getting your groove on, but it's good. Like they're there, they're seeing you, and I just think it's amazing. That's one of the things about traveling. Like even when the times I've been in Europe, I see a lot more of like young people hanging out with like older people, at a
hmm
pub or at a bar or at a club. Like everyone is out for entertainment and they don't see the age. They're all talking to each other.
Together,
And
right?
I get that same feeling at roller skating. It's like everybody's just wanting everyone to have a
Everybody.
good time. And yeah,
You put on a pair of
there's-
skates, you are part of it. It doesn't matter where you came from. I mean, I've got friends that are doctors and lawyers and that are incredible skaters. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
true.
skate with
Sometimes
nurses every week.
yeah, it's insane. Like I think now when I go to the bank or something, I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're a roller skater, like, just because
That's
you're right.
true.
They go from this person doing their regular day job to a star on the rink.
I mean, I met a wonderful person, Michael Brown. Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, with everything that he touches. I mean, this guy is uh, robotics all around
Yeah.
the world. He's
Ah,
he's an artist. He's everything. I mean, just an incredible person. There are people that do just incredible things for our community right here in Buffalo. Marilyn Young, just doing incredible things for our community, our society. Roller skating is really a beautiful thing because, like I said, it doesn't matter what color you are, how tall you are, whether you're fat, whether
mhm.
you're skinny. It doesn't matter. The skates don't. It doesn't make any difference. If you're out there and you're trying to skate, everybody is having a good time and helping you. Let me tell you how to do this. But I warn people,
Yeah,
don't let too many people tell you how to skate because you need to figure it out for yourself. You really
yeah.
do.
I love that advice. So, Darnell, what do you think? Like, over the years, there have been problems with roller skating where places have been shut down, people have been asked to disperse, you can't gather here and skate.
I, you know,
There has been like fear or something that, we don't want to have all these people gathering and doing this activity.
I,
And
I,
why do you
I,
think it got a bad rap?
I don't understand how that could ever happen because, um, I mean, Hamilton used to have a beautiful place. Hamilton Roller World, Roller Works. That was a big place, and it was everybody came to have a good time. I don't understand. Even Buffalo, USA number 7. That was a great rink. There were more rinks back then. I don't understand what it is. I don't see it. It doesn't. I don't see any trouble from roller rinks. I mean, wherever you go, whether it's here in the States or anywhere else, if you're a roller skater and you're coming to skate, nobody's there to bother you. They're there to have a good time, just like you are. So I think roller skating brings more communities together than it
Mhm.
tears before, and it would never tear them apart. I think it's always a good thing that we have a mix of people gathering to share in exercise and a good
Yeah,
time.
definitely. And I think the more that we talk about it and the more that people are just aware of it. Actually, Cheryl is just chiming in now. Cheryl Lochran, she's saying, yeah, insurance is what keeps places from opening because the cost is so high. I could understand that. Like even with that new rink, Roller Pony, I guess they're sticking with 18 plus because insurance is probably bigger for the
Cost
young
more
kids.
for.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
See, I don't know all that business part about the skating. I'm more interested in what it does for just humanity, for people. It is
Mhm.
so much better for. I mean, if you didn't know about a certain culture, a certain person, a nationality, or whatever, and you met them on a skate floor, guess what? You're
Mhm.
going to find out about them, and then you're
Yeah.
not going to be afraid of all those. You don't have all those fears. All those things don't become attached to them. Now they're just, I
Mhm.
know somebody like that, it's just,
Yeah.
I think that it's something that needs to be done. We need to do more things where
Mhm.
people are together and roller skate and have fun and listen to music and, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's what makes like this whole thing with scooters so sad. Like potentially that they'll have to close down one day and condos will go up or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's more than just an old building coming down.
Yeah, it's
It's a
historic.
community. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's historic. I mean, that roller rink it's raised grown-ups, and those grown-ups have raised their kids, and most of them, have roller skated. I think that it's serviced the community, not just, scooters, but I mean around scooters, but I mean all over. I mean, people come from long places to skate. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not the only one from Buffalo that comes up. There's a whole
Mhm.
slew of people that come from Buffalo. There's people that come from Detroit. There's people that come from all over. The community itself, uh, yeah, I think scooters enhanced the community for a great deal of years.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a very sacred place, It's
Yes.
roller church.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not a historic landmark. It's been there for
Yeah.
40 some odd years, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it should be. I wonder if you have to be over 100 or something to be a historic landmark in Canada. I don't know what the
Uh,
criteria is, but it's true. Like,
yeah,
yeah, they
I
need to
mean,
preserve. And that's the sad thing. Like when, you go overseas and
you're
everything is preserved,
Yeah,
but
you're
I don't
taking
know
that
why
away
we
from the
have
youth. What are you giving them back?
Mhm.
If you take that
Yeah.
away from the youth, what are you giving them back? If you go to Scooters on a Friday night and look at the line of young kids, that goes around the building, what are those
Mm.
kids going to do? I mean, and that happens on Friday and Saturday night,
Yeah.
every Friday and Saturday night. Just what are those, 300-400 kids going to do now if they don't have, a place like Scooters to go to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's a big question, and that's a lot of kids.
Yes, yes. I
Wow.
mean,
Yeah.
it's I've watched it happen all over the place, and what it ends up is then you have a lot more trouble because
Mhm.
now the teenagers don't have anything to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are segregated again. They're not coming together.
Together. Exactly.
And the other kick-ass thing about it is like nobody's on the phone.
Yes. The only person
Like,
on the phone is Mark because he's taking
oh yeah,
pictures.
that's right. He's got to do his uploads, but that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, and again, like you're having conversations with people because nobody's sitting there doing this. Like you don't see heads down there, you see
Oh
heads
yeah.
up, and yeah,
And people are talking on the skate floor. You got them everywhere. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
Mhm.
so my friend Melanie has a great question. She wants to know, is there anything that has surprised you or shocked you in the roller skate culture today?
What's kind of shocking is that we do see younger kids that want to, but the sad thing is that they're saying what we're saying, that there's not enough rinks. There needs to be more places, but now we're getting more outdoors, like Hamilton's Pier. There's
Mhm.
several other rinks now in Canada that are outdoor. I know the harbor down here, Canal Side in Buffalo, is really booming with roller skating. I think it's a big thing, and we're kind of going back to the '70s again. And because I think everything keeps going in circles, so we're going back to the '70s, and there's going to be more roller rinks. At least I hope so.
Yeah, I think so too. Cheryl, actually, she's just chiming in again saying, United Skate documentary explains what's happening in the skate world. And I'm glad she
Yes,
brought that up because that's what was in my mind in that documentary. I haven't seen it, I just saw like a little
I
clip,
watched it
but
a couple of
what
times.
okay, and what you're talking about, that woman that said the worst part is there's nowhere I can go where I feel like a star
That's it.
anymore, you know?
That's it. And
Yeah,
and 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 whether
heartbreak.
you've got a big following or not, when you're on the skate floor, you yourself shine brightly, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and that we all need to get that feeling sometime.
Yeah, you definitely do. Darnell, you're awesome. I've
Thank
loved
you for
talking to
having me.
you. Yeah, this
Yes,
has
we'll
been
talk
great.
more at the rink.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more at the rink for sure. But thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories and
Yeah,
inspiring people and encouraging them. I think
please.
it's so important.
I hope everybody
Yeah,
comes out to skate because it really is a good time.
yeah, it'll heal the world. We can heal the world with the wheels.
You sure can.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put you in the virtual back room, but just hang out for me there while I say goodbye to everybody and I'll come back
Okay,
to
go
you.
right ahead. Thank you again
Okay,
for having me.
no problem, Darnell. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, Darnell is amazing. What a great guy. I hope to see you out at Scooters. I'll be there this Thursday. I like to do the lessons at 7 p.m. So if you are curious and you want to come out, please be sure to do that. Please go and check out my website, GlamJulz, GLAMJULZ.com. Check out our roller charm collection, our roller jewels, and all of the pieces we're doing to fundraise. We've got a whole campaign for Pride this month. And yeah, just keep on showing the world your sparkle. You guys are awesome and really appreciate you tuning in today. We'll see you back here next week with another awesome guest. Bye for now.